Welcome to the Pulse of Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we are beginning today with our Politics with Peter B segment. Joining us in studio is Josh Sotomayor Einstein. Josh, what's going on, my man?
Good to be here, brother.
Oh, the handshake and everything, and he's looking great again.
As always.
Self-proclaimed as always. Anyway, so, Josh, a few weeks ago, we spoke about the Hoboken municipal budget and the deficit that it was facing. And at the time, it was $7.5 million. And this is what was coming out of Mayor Bala's administration. But as time progressed in those few weeks that we spoke about it, Councilwoman Fisher, second ward Councilwoman Fisher, is telling the public in mass emails and even at council meetings that it's closer to $14 million. Who do we believe?
So we shouldn't believe any of them.
Okay.
Because you should always have a healthy skepticism when it comes to political leaders. It doesn't mean that they're bad people in their personal life, but that you shouldn't trust people with the public's money. Because they have a tendency, whether it's $7 million or $14 million, and I would say there's a good chance that it'll even go higher, they have a tendency to spend money with abandon. And if you look at how we found out about this, a lot of people, the first time they heard that it was north of $7 million was when Councilwoman Fisher just mentioned it at the council meeting. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that were there were like, what? Huh? Question marks, sprung up above people's heads, light bulbs turned on, and they were very confused.
And I just want to mention one thing. Councilwoman Fisher is the chairperson of the Finance Subcommittee, yes. So she oversees the budget.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
So, it could be well north of that, but that's what happens when you have a city that doesn't look at, its obligatory spending as mandated by the state. And the cost increase that are coming, and that everyone should know because they can see somebody walking towards them down the street. They should know that this person is going to arrive. Right. Exactly. Only the magic of government and elected officials will someone be surprised when someone that is down the street has walked towards them, and that's what's happened with this budget situation. But it's also coupled with the fact that they spend money like a drunken sailor. And my friend, who was actually a veteran from the Navy, asked me to stop saying that expression, so I apologize.
Oh, is that true?
Just slipped out again. He takes it as a real offense. That sailors are always compared to
I'll stop him next time.
Government people just spending money like crazy.
But let me ask you, Josh, so during Mayor Zimmer's administration, she actually kept municipal taxes flat. Or so we thought. I mean, it could have been just putting it on a credit card and then we're going to have to pay for it in the future.
That's exactly what it was.
Do you blame Mayor Bala? Mayor Bala now has been in office for 3 years. And, he's hired in his mayoral staff, a chief of staff, a deputy chief of staff, which have new job titles now. But can you put the blame all on Mayor Bala for this? Or does the city council take some blame for this because they're the ones that are approving whatever spending measures that he's putting on their agenda?
So the buck stops in the mayor's office, so he gets the lion's share of the blame. But you have to be fair about these things, as the politicians aren't ever. And the reality is that it's not the onus for this is not only on the mayor, it's on the city council, and it goes back to previous administrations and previous councils for kicking the can down the road and just putting everything on the charge card. The people in the council and the mayor's office like to pretend that all the purchasing that they've been doing and all the eminent domaining that they've been doing, whether it's the Union Dry Dock or the Northwest Resiliency Park or their constant tussles with Academy Bus in the southwest corner,
right.
They like to pretend that this doesn't have a cost. And they try to imply that. They won't ever actually explicitly say it, but they imply it by saying, oh, well, we saved $19 million over the course of paying back this loan. You don't save money, all right, by spending money you don't have.
Exactly.
That's like if I go to the store and, I want to buy a suit and it cost, at one point it cost $200, and I only have $100 and it's now $150,
right.
That's like me putting it on the charge card when I can't afford it and saying, I saved $50.
Exactly.
No.
You just can't afford it.
I spent 100 and I put myself on the hook for another 50 that I can't afford. And that's what our council and mayor have been doing for years. It's the previous administration did the same thing. They just pretend it doesn't cost anything. For their sort of extra spending like the eminent domains, they say, well, these are low interest loans. Well, you still have to pay the interest and you still have to pay the principal.
Right.
So all these things add up. And when you add these extra spendings, or when they say, for example, the HOP, the municipal bus service around town is free.
It's not free.
It's not free. It's paid for by the taxpayer. So you're purchasing like crazy. You're engaging in lawsuits like crazy. You're providing more services, which people could argue for or against, but you're pretending that they're free. You're pretending nothing costs any money, and at the same time, you're ignoring the looming cost increase that everyone knew and saw was coming, that was baked into the system.
And it's funny you mentioned Union Dry Dock, because I believe the offer on the table to New York Waterway for Union Dry Dock is $14 million. I mean, where is, and my Italian's coming out here, but where is the city of Hoboken going to get this money? I mean, in order to pay for this. And Josh, we failed to mention that as of right now, there are 59, I believe it's 59, city employees who might be facing layoffs because of this $14 million, whatever number, budget deficit. And that is a huge number.
The numbers that have been tossed around are anywhere between 59 to 80. So it's very crazy. And listen, I'm a small government guy. It doesn't mean I don't have empathy for people when they get canned, no doubt. But I definitely think that, we talked about it before. If there's any municipal employees that need to get chopped, we should start at the political appointees first. B, we need to go back to what are essential services. I know it's not popular. I don't care if something is popular or not. That's not going to affect whether or not, my analysis. We don't need to have a municipal bus service. We don't need to have these constant lawsuits. We don't need to extend the Southwest Corner Park, which isn't really a park. It's a dog run with patio bricks.
I was going to say.
Okay, in the most around the most dangerous intersections in town, where you wouldn't want any kids, running across the street, God forbid. And
they're not protected, those intersections. They could just walk right into the street. There's no gates or anything.
Those intersections are insane, insanely dangerous. But there's a pressure group, and we talked about it before, that is dedicated to spending more of the public money for the things that they want. And since they confuse their wants with municipal needs, and B, they vote in mass. So,
I mean, just going back, it's New York Waterway, it's Stevens, which we spoke about in a recent show. These are all litigations that the city of Hoboken have. Academy Bus, but I thought there was some sort of compromise with that in the last few days.
They believe that they're going to reach a compromise.
Academy Bus. I mean, what's next? I mean, again, really quickly, we have a few seconds here. How can they afford it? And if the answer is they can't, they just can't.
Well, we can't afford it, and the city is going to do it anyway. The mayor's administration and the city council, even though they have personality differences and they hate each other, they're still going to spend our money, and they're going to raise everyone's taxes. And maybe some people, they may or may not fire people in City Hall, but either way, everyone's taxes are going to go up.
And that's unfortunate. Well, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, we might come back in a few weeks and say that the budget deficit is $21 million. Who knows? Looks like it's going up by 7.
I wouldn't be shocked, but God forbid.
Well, thank you for joining us, folks. When we come back, we have Ashley Rollo back in studio for another great review. You're not going to want to miss it. We will be back.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse of Peter B. Folks, don't forget to get on our YouTube page and binge watch all of our past episodes. Type in the Pulse of Peter B in your search bar and please subscribe. Also, go on our Instagram page and follow us at The Pulse with Peter B. Get on our Facebook page and follow and like us there. All you have to do is type in The Pulse with Peter B in the search bar. You're not going to want to miss it. We're constantly updating that page with previews. We put our full shows on there. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at our email address, and that is thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. We look forward to responding to you.
Welcome back to the Pulse of Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano, and this is our Places with Peter B segment. In studio again is Ashley Rollo, our food/places insider. Ashley, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
I
so
am
happy you're
great.
here.
I'm so happy you are back.
Yes, it's really exciting to come here. I love the vibe of this place.
Well, we try. We try here on the Pulse, Ashley. We really do. So, we have already talked about 2 restaurants in the Freeholder, Marlboro area. So, why don't we head back down there because we just keep, loving all the stuff that's down there. It's so unique and different and all of that. And today we're going to talk about Metropolitan Cafe, which is located at 8 East Main Street in the lovely city of Freehold. Now, Metropolitan Cafe. So I work in the city, Ashley, as you do in your day job, and in Connecticut and all over.
Day job, it's all the time
It's
job.
all the time job.
All the
that is.
time.
There are cafe metros in the city
Yes.
that are like Cheney and things like that. I'm assuming this is nothing to do with that chain, correct?
This is not even close.
To that chain.
that
I
chain.
like that. And this is Metropolitan Cafe. Those are cafe metros, I'm sure. Okay, so first of all, right on Main Street in Freehold, easy to get to, I'm guessing?
Easy to get to. Again, parking for Freehold downtown is great. You have parking in front of the building and you have parking behind the building. It's super easy. It doesn't matter which way you're coming from. There's always somewhere to park.
All right, there you go. It's not like, where we film in Hoboken where, there is just no parking here and we all have to take public transportation and get here late, like Ashley's first time on the show that we're not
It
going to
was
go over.
Uber's fault.
It was Uber's fault, she says. That's why you use Lyft from now on. Anyway, Metropolitan Cafe. Is it a place that you go to a lot? Is
Yes.
it a place that you frequent or that you don't go in frequently? What is it? Talk to me.
I probably go there 2 to 3 times a month, and
Wow.
with my job, the fact that I can even get out 2 or 3 times a month says a lot. So if I do have a place that I can get to, it is Metro.
Okay, cool. And your go-to now, is when somebody says cafe to me, that seems like a grab and go type of place. But this is a sit down type of restaurant, correct?
This place has a full bar, and it has
Full bar.
and it has tables. It also has a sushi bar. You can actually sit at the sushi bar and get your sushi made and brought out to you, authentic style.
Wow. So it's not really like we spoke about Osteria Rustica Cucina before on the show, and we spoke about the Jester Corchester, was it called?
Corchester.
Corchester restaurants. This place has a little bit of everything, correct? Or is it more like an American type of style menu, except for the sushi, of course?
This place has incredible seafood. It has fresh fish. Their fish is fantastic. They have all different types of sushi. They have a full sushi menu. It's about 3 pages long, and they also have what I call is tuna nachos. So it's tuna tartare over basically like a puffed rice cake, and it's great. It's one of my favorite things. A little
So is that
spicy
your
meal
go-to
drizzle.
when you
That's
go
my
there?
go-to.
Cool. Let's talk a little bit about their drink menu, though, because now you told me they have a full bar, and we all know that, I like to drink a lot off camera, maybe even on camera sometimes.
On camera would be great.
Exactly, 100%. So talk to me. Is there any specialty drinks there that you like?
All of their martinis are fantastic. I am actually not really a martini person. I do prefer tequila over a martini. But their martinis are very good, and they chill the glasses, which is super important to me. You ever get a martini where they don't chill the glass, and it's kind of like, why is my drink so warm? Because you can't put ice in a martini. So they actually chill the glass, so the bartenders are properly trained in how to make a good drink. And they also have different types of martinis. You can get it with vodka, you can get it with gin. They have beers on tap, which is good. They also have a fridge with different types of beers that are local. They have an extensive local beer selection, which is fantastic as well. And they just
Do it
everything
right.
they do it right. They have a
do it
seasonal
right.
drink menu, which is great because sometimes you want that pumpkin martini or you want a hot toddy.
For
when
not
it's
being a
cold-
martini person, by the way, you know a lot about martinis.
They have a really good martini selection. I can't not.
And the
say
staff there, I mean, you have your go-to bartender there?
There's a bunch of bartenders that actually work there. They're all very, very smart and very knowledgeable.
important.
There's the same guy. I don't know his name, but he also doesn't tell me his name. He doesn't tell anybody his name. Provocative, but it leaves that little air of mysteriousness to him.
So you're just going to have to go to
You
Metropolitan
have to go to
Cafe
Metro
and
and find
try to
out
get his
who he
name.
is, get his name.
Exactly.
Then,
All right.
then add me on social and tell me what his name is so I can be like, hey, I know your name now.
Now I know. Maybe we'll bring the cameras down there. What do you think?
We should do that.
We should.
Can we do that?
We 100%
Can we do? I think
that.
we're gonna make that a thing.
We are going to make a thing. And then he has to tell us his name.
Yes, because he's gonna be held to the spot.
There you go. Well, to the food. You spoke about these tuna nachos, which sounds, absolutely delectable. These 2-3 times a month that you do go to Metropolitan Cafe, what's your go-to over there?
I usually go for the half-price sushi nights.
Oh,
those are
nice.
really good. And then they also have a lot of different dishes. They have like a braised short rib, egg roll, which is sometimes I'd like to get from them. They also just came out with this dessert on special to the point where I told the bartender to please make it a thing. It's beignets. I love beignets. I love New Orleans. It's one of my favorite cities to visit. I love working there. I love their beignets. The beignets that Metro makes, it's with Nutella in them. And then they have a raspberry ice cream that they serve on the side with it. Unbelievable. Absolutely amazing.
I'm literally salivating at the mouth right now.
Yeah, I went with my friend Vinny last week and we both tried it and he was like, these are amazing. And he was on a diet. He broke his New Year's diet to try this beignet and he said it was worth it.
Hey, look at that. And by the way, I know you were at Osteria, by yourself. I'm glad you actually found somebody to go to.
I have that one friend that's willing to sometimes eat with me.
Again, at Ashley Lauren Rollo. DM that. Anyway, so going back to Metropolitan Cafe, date night spot?
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Also a good hangout spot because they have a DJ there that'll play music so you can dance. And they have a lounge area where you can get your drinks and you can sit down and it's lower than a regular table and they're more like couch cushions so you can hang out, listen to the music. But then there's also quiet tables in the back that are nowhere near the music that you can have a group dinner with. And there's an upstairs. There's tables upstairs as well.
It's multi-floored apparently.
Oh yeah, there's 2 stories. We have to go there.
Listen, we will. I mean, as long as they invite us. Will they invite us, you think?
Metro, please invite us to come and see you guys again. I need him to know what really good food is, and this is going to be the only thing I
I mean, oh man, that is a low blow coming from the South Jersey person. She does not like me calling it her South Jersey.
It's not South Jersey, and when you get to Central Jersey, you will be quickly corrected that it is not South Jersey.
You know what I call Central Jersey? The Shore.
That I would be more confident in you calling it the Shore than calling it South Jersey, because South Jersey to me is like people in like Tom's River and below.
Yeah, that is
and
pretty
like
south.
the piney people,
Like
you know?
Cape May. That's like Delaware.
That's Delaware.
I was
That's
gonna
not
say.
even New Jersey.
I was gonna say. Anyway, so and Freehold is not far away from Hudson County and the parts of Bergen and Essex counties that we are on. Maybe about a 45-minute ride. And if and Metro has to be worth it to go down.
Oh,
there.
Metro is 100% worth it. If you're gonna go anywhere outside of your little Hudson County bubble, I would go to Metro. It's great. You won't have a bad time. The food is always good, and they really aim to please to their customers.
And that's impressive. And you said it could be kind of, since it's like a good date night spot and a place to just chill or hang out, the hours I'm sure are pretty open.
They're very open,
late. Right.
and they have a lot of group gatherings that they have there, parties. It's perfect for everyone.
Perfect for everyone, she says. Well, Metropolitan Cafe in the beautiful city of Freehold. My God, we've done 2 in Freehold. We've done 1 in Marlboro. We're just going all over this great state, I mean, actually, if we're going to go to the South Jersey, are you willing to come down that far with us to review some restaurants?
I will. I definitely
That's what I like to hear.
check out some restaurants.
That's
with
what I
you
like to
guys.
hear. She's going to be in Miami, too, for the Super Bowl. I mean, she's
Yeah.
got it. She's got it. I mean, we might have to do
We can do
a remote. I was going to say,
Yes.
She knows. She knows. Maybe. Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. Well, Ashley Rollo of at Ashley Lauren Rollo on Instagram. Make sure you follow her. And make sure you follow The Pulse, too. I mean,
Yes, please follow them, because then you can see all the fun stuff that I bring to his table.
Boom! On that note, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I have nothing else to say. Have a great week, everybody.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Postal Peter B. Folks, don't forget to get on our YouTube page and binge watch all of our past episodes. Type in the Postal Peter B in your search bar and please subscribe. Also, go on our Instagram page and follow us at The Pulse with Peter B. Get on our Facebook page and follow and like us there. All you have to do is type in The Pulse with Peter B in the search bar. You're not going to want to miss it. We're constantly updating that page with previews. We put our full shows on there. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at our email address, and that is thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com. We look forward to responding to you.
All right, and welcome to the JSR, which normally stands for the Jersey Sports Report. Today, though, we're going to throw a twist at you. It's the Jay Sinatra Report, because my main man is right beside me, Jay Sinatra, Matt Waymeyer here, and we are talking some college hoops, Jersey style. Seton Hall, Rutgers, both we think tournament bound. Seton Hall for sure, Rutgers a little bit of work to do. But Jay, I want to talk about Seton Hall to lead things off. A lot of layers here with Seton Hall. Yep. They're coming off a fantastic win at the Rock over 21st ranked Butler, 74-72 the other night. Sandro Mamukelashvili, my favorite name in all sports.
I don't know how you get that off.
Yes.
That's a tough one.
A lot of practice. 0.6 seconds left on the clock. The alley-oop puts it in. Seton Hall gets the win. However, with this team, Jay, it's kind of a, is it glass half full, glass half empty? The glass half full says, well, they're resilient. They can fight back from any deficit. They've got the heart, the determination, the grit to get the job done. The glass half empty says these rotten starts at some point are going to catch up with them. How do you look at this whole thing?
Well, I mean, this is something that's been going on for a couple of years now with the slow starts. And I mean, at some point, you got to point the finger at Coach Willard for this. Not having the team prepared, the energy hasn't been great. Let's go back a couple weeks ago. They lose at home to Xavier, that Saturday morning game, and we can handle that. It's a bad team. It's a home loss. But look, you're not going to go 18-0 in this conference. Then we move forward a little bit. Gigantic win against Villanova down in Philly.
First time in 24 years?
It's a humongous moment for the program, okay? But you lose to Creighton, who's on fire, sizzling hot right now. You can live with that, too. Mm-hmm. My problem, what happened down in Providence, okay? We're out of the gate, 20-2 they're down. Then it becomes 34-10. Then they claw back and get it to 14 at the half. But Providence is a terrible, terrible basketball team. They lost to Pennsylvania. They lost to Charleston. They lost to the Florida Gators, who are an average team this year by 30 points at home. So it's lack of preparation. Then we hear some rumblings that there might be some things going on in the locker room with some players. I'm not so sure that was handled properly at the time. It's been such a great positive season. Coach Willard, Pal's been fantastic. This is an unbelievable group of kids. I've had the pleasure to speak to some of them. They're great kids.
They are.
And, you might have a little late season turmoil that they got to get ironed out.
I want to go back to what you said about the locker room turmoil. Now, what's interesting or weird about this whole thing is that this whole subject was broached not by a player, but by Coach Willard, apparently on a radio show. And maybe the motivation was to try to light a fire under these guys, but I think you and I both agree that is not the way to do it, and I think this caused more harm than good.
Well, I mean, it can work in two separate ways. I mean, time will tell how this works. I mean, I don't like the approach necessarily, but again, I'm not close with these kids all the time. I don't know the, emotional, mental dynamic between coach and kids. He obviously knows it better. This is the path he took. I mean, I don't know what players he was talking about specifically. Kale comes to mind. Right. This is a kid whose minutes have gone down, his production's gone down. And they're going to need him, moving forward to get this right. I mean, Miles Powell is the whole thing. Miles Powell's the whole thing. And I don't know if he's getting tired at this point in the season. Maybe some, residual effects from the concussion. I'm not a doctor, but I mean, his shooting as of late has been off a little bit.
Yeah, it really has.
They need him. They're going to go as far as he takes them. They're a bubble team without Miles Powell.
Yeah, and Miles Powell, a couple of weeks ago, one of the games that was covered by us at the Rock, he made a very interesting comment, and I think it caught a lot of people off guard. He said after the game that he had his typical 20, 25 points, but a lot of that was done after halftime. And he said to the media and to us, he said, I just have to accept that I'm not a first half player. And I heard that, and it just struck my ears kind of funny. It's like, if you're a great player, you don't say something like that. If you're a great player, you're good in the first half, the second half, and anything in between. But to have this acceptance that I'm just not good for the first 20 minutes of the game, and I get it revved up after halftime, to me, that's not a great mentality, and I think that's something that they got to address with him.
Well, not only that, I mean, we didn't hear about these things earlier in the season. So, I mean, again, does this come out, is there a fatigue factor that plays into that? You can't get off the blocks quick. You need the game to be dictated to you. Pal's the kind of kid that, he attacks the game. And, if he's telling you that out of the gate, as we get into March, that's not going to be accepted. You play the better teams as we go deeper into the season that are well coached, in road environments. It's got to be 40 minutes of basketball to advance.
Yeah, I think we can both agree that if they have that attitude, that mentality going into March Madness, and you can't have an acceptance of, well, we're going to stink in the first half and get it corrected in the second half. Every team in March Madness is there for a reason, and you cannot put a stink bomb out there for 20 minutes and expect to get away with it.
It's got to start now, though. These are important games. Seton Hall needs these games. They got to finish strong. They got to have a good showing in the Big East tournament. They need seeding. They, to me, the committee hasn't done a great job by them. They win the Big East tournament back in 2016. They get their reward. They get shipped out to Denver, high altitude. Whitehead's on the team. He's wearing the oxygen tank. It's just a bad look. Seton Hall really has to, hold their, get this momentum back to get some good local seeding.
Yeah, I agree. They're, barring complete catastrophe, they're going to be in March Madness. Rutgers, on the other hand, I think we agree they should be in. They probably will be in, but they've got some work to do. This is a team, the home road splits. Every team's going to be better at home in front of their fans, a little bit worse on the road. But this is extreme. Up until the other night, I think they'd won their first 18 games at the rack. Michigan finally got them. They've been atrocious on the road. Which is the real Rutgers team?
Well, look, you look at Rutgers, they're playing with house money this entire season. Nobody expected anything from them. You hear rumblings like, oh, they only win at home. They can't do this on the road. Nobody else in the country has their record at home. Look at all the top teams. There's some 15-0s out there. There's some one-loss teams out there. Get off of Rutgers' back. They've had an unbelievable season. They've come out of nowhere. They've gotten great performances from Brown, Harper Jr. The coaching's been outstanding. They have a huge home court advantage this season in the building. You hear a lot of things about how unbelievable the building is. The coaching has been unbelievable. The players on the court have been unbelievable. That place has been open for 42 years, and Rutgers hasn't had all of these unbelievable seasons at the rack. So it's going hand in hand and working this year for them. They got some big games to close the season out, and I think they got to get it kicked off. They got to go win in Wisconsin. They got to show some stability on the road. Then they go to Penn State, Maryland at home, senior night, close out with Purdue, and then the postseason tournament.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. And going back to what you were saying about the coaching, I covered America East hoops for a long time, so I got to know Steve Peichel at Stony Brook and the job he did there. And what a great hire by Rutgers to get a guy of that caliber to make the step up from mid-major to major. And I can't say enough good things about him. If he's not, coach of the year, he's got to be a top 5 guy.
He's done an unbelievable job for them, and I think he's overlooked. Again, we'll see how they close this season out. To me, they got to make their case on the road to close this season. We talk about the great home record, and that holds itself, but I think that game at Penn State, if they can go out there and pull that off, I think that's a huge resume booster for them. Maybe go 2-2 to close out the regular season, get a win in the conference tournament, close it out 3-3. The rest of the year, 21 should get them in. Would you agree?
I agree. I agree with that. And to kind of wrap things up here, there's always bracketology projections put out every week or so. And right now, they've got Rutgers and Seton Hall in the same bracket. I think Rutgers is a 9, Seton Hall is a 3. And look, 1,000 things could happen. But how great would it be? 2 Jersey schools in the final of a regional. We could dream, can't we?
It would be great if it's local. If they could meet up someplace. I think Albany has the early rounds, and then the Sweet 16s at Madison Square Garden. So how cool would that be? But who knows? They could be down in Florida or out west someplace, and that'll take the luster off. But absolutely, it'd be great. And there's a couple other Jersey teams that have an opportunity to get into the tournament as well. So
it could be
it's been a great year in Jersey hoops.
A Garden State party for the NCAA tournament here in 2020.
Much better than the NBA teams.
Yeah, a lot. I'd say a little bit of a difference there between the college hoops teams and the pro ranks, and maybe some other time when we want to get depressed, we'll talk about the pro aspect of what's going on in the basketball world. Jay Sinatra, grace up as always. I'm Matt Waymire signing off for the Jersey Sports Report. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and everything in between. We'll see you next time.